Emma Lenny Benye Nile Loko, Esiku Dede Asikui. Hello everyone, it's Adirunke again. I hope your day is going well. Today I'll be breaking the word awo down in a bit to explore what it is in and of itself. There are common translations that are thrown around that are not exactly the same as what the word is saying when you break it down. So I'm going to be doing the breaking down. Awo is a noun maker combined, with what seems like either a verb or an adjective. So, like many Yoruba nouns, you have the noun maker, which is typically a letter, two at most, and a verb. You put them together, that becomes a noun. So, it's easy to understand what words are, especially nouns, in and of themselves when you know that it's typically noun maker plus verb. And even with the verbs, I mentioned in my video on tones that sometimes tones point to something as well. If it's do, that would say something. If it's re and if it's me, depending on the tone that it carries, that would also say something. So, but I don't want to go into that because I've addressed it in that video. But noun maker and verb would typically make a noun. The thing that is, or the things that are, would be how you would translate this are. It doesn't mean anything in and of itself, but since it's a noun maker, you can express it this way. The thing that is, the wo is what we're trying to find out now. What is wo? To me, it would have started out as a verb, but then became established as an adjective, which is not uncommon. There are many verbs that are used as adjectives in the Yoruba language. Like, they don't have one strict identity. It really depends on how you structure the sentence. So I think wo it's obsolete now as a verb, I would say, but as an adjective, it still is. We have wo, which is to look at, or to look to something or someone, or even to examine something or someone. To examine, simply wo. And depending on where it is in a sentence, sometimes it would be like mo wo Shade. I looked at Shade. The verb is still wo, but it will change. The wo will change to re. It's still the same word, but because of the noun that is coming after, and because you want to express something is coming next, we'll give more clarity soon. I promise to address this in a separate video. I just haven't, but I will soon. Now that I see it coming up almost every time I make a video. Sometimes the tones of words change, especially verbs. The tones of verbs change. Verbs that carry do originally will change to re when there's a noun coming next, to indicate that the sentence is not done. We're going to give clarity on what we're looking at soon. So rather than mo wo Shade, to say I looked at Shade, you would say mo wo Shade. You're trying to say I'll tell you what I looked at soon. So wo changes from wo to wo. This would be for a separate video, but irrespective, the verb is still wo. And then you have wo, which is to demolish or to fall or to collapse, really depending on what you're addressing or describing. It could be to fall, to collapse, to demolish. Wo. Then this wo. This is what we're trying to find out, and it's in multiple nouns, so we can deduce. Even if we don't know what the verb is, we can deduce the adjectival usage from these words. You have awo. We're trying to find the meaning of awo, but you have awo, and if you look at history, it's the why ceramic plates are called awo is because they are a little bit heavier than the regular clay ones or even the plastic ones. They are heavier. This is probably not even as heavy as they call them soyoyo. I will soyoyo. I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about, but my grandmother had a lot of those. Ceramic plates in general, whether they are the bowls or the flat plates or whatever, they're a little bit heavier than the regular ones. A little bit weightier, a little bit weighty than what people would have been used to, like what would have been the common ones. And that was why they were special, because they could break. You don't want to serve children with them, except like there's something really, really important going on. You know, wuwo is a word for heavy. Even when you say oh wuwo, or it is, or it is, the is implied, heavy. Oh wuwo, wuwo is heavy. And then you have ewo, which is a word for abscess or boil. It's not just the skin anymore. It's now, the skin is now carrying something under it, or it's covering something that is pointing out, that is protruding a little bit, that is holding something in it. I really don't know how to, but you probably already get what I'm saying. Something that is carrying something in it. So it's a little bit weightier than it should be. So abscess or boil. The common factor between all this is the weightiness that wo implies. So weighty is at face value, without needing to infer anything, is what you would translate wo as. There are many words like that that are not always easy to decipher because they are obsolete. They are verbs like that. When I broke down the word ago, yeah, it was ago, I used a bunch of words like this, like agoro, and I will probably link that video. I used a bunch of words like this, found the common denominator, and the meaning was clear afterward. So that is what I would encourage you to do whenever you find verbs that are obsolete, or just words in general. Even if you can't determine if they are verbs or not, or if they were verbs, just find words that carry them and find the common factor between all of them, and you would know what the meaning is again. So wo gives the impression of weighty, is weighty when you look at it. So you could translate awo as the thing that is weighty. So the thing that has some weight to it. The thing that is not simple, that is not easy. Could even infer that is not clear. There's just something to it. It's just not easy peasy, essentially. So when you say the thing that is weighty, especially when you're referring to knowledge, especially in the context of babalawo and in the Ifa context, because in not necessarily just the Ifa context, just in the context of knowledge, you're saying that it is not common knowledge, it is not common knowledge. So you could either be talking about a secret. Awo is our original word for secret. Ashiri is not a Yoruba word. It's an Arabic word that was Yorubanized, so to say. So, oh my goodness, I hope I don't start pissing people off. I find that whenever I address words that are not of Yoruba origin, loan words, people get mad. Like, why do you need to explore that? Every language loans words, like the English language. Like 80% of the English language is loaned. But when they are original words and you're letting them die off because you appreciate the loan words more, it makes no sense. But I guess that would be for the video I would dedicate to Ashiri not being a Yoruba word. I'm just going to leave that for now. Awo, not common knowledge. It's a secret. It's a secret, or it's esoteric or deep. When you take 3 knots or 4 knots that are facing, or 4 collar knots or whatever that are facing up, like, you have to know what that means to be able to interpret that. If you don't, then it's just 4 collar knots facing up. I guess it makes no sense to you. Or if you see a card of like a man with for those that are into the tarot as well, that has their head upside down, hung on something, maybe a tree or something, you have to know what the hanged man card means for you to be able to determine how that applies to you or to anything. So it's weighty. It's awo. It's weighty. It's not common knowledge. It has some weight to it. So it may be a secret, or it may be because it's esoteric or deep. Again, ashiri, which is the word that is thrown around as the Yoruba word for secret, came like after the 1100s. It's not an authentic word. Obatala would not know what ashiri means. The Yoruba that they spoke and the one that we speak, for many people that lived back then, it would be like, is this still Yoruba? What is ashiri? They wouldn't know what you're saying if you say ashiri. So the language has changed a lot. So when you're referring to people and you say awo, whether you say babalawo or yalawo or mawo or just awo, simply in reference to specific people, you're saying the person who or the persons who know or engage with the thing or things that are weighty. A person who engages with, or a person who knows things that are weighty, things that have some weight to them, things that are not common knowledge, things that are esoteric, that are deep, or a flat wooden board with something that looks powdery on top of it, and with something that has something strong onto it. What the hell is that? And when it was cast, it looked somehow. That is how you will interpret it if you don't know what that means. But if you're able to translate the way that it looks or the shape that it takes, then your how of that specific knowledge. So there is a wo as well, which you may already know, which is often translated as which, which is said when you're inquiring about something that is unclear or unknown. So you don't know something, you want to ask, or you're not sure of something, so you want to ask, which again, weightiness it's not light, it's not clear, it's not known. Ewo. So if you ask the question, ewo lelei, which is ewo ni elei, if you break lelei down into the two words that combine to form it, ewo is like which one, ni is, elei is like this. Ewo ni elei, ewo lelei. We combine words a lot in the Yoruba language. So ni elei is lelei separated. The combination is lelei. Which one is this? Which one is this? Ewo lelei. Which one is this? You use ewo to ask for clarity. It's weighty, it's unclear, you don't know which is which. Ewo lelei. The deciphering spirit or attitude is reflected when you use ewo, as opposed to kini. When you say kini elei, what is this? Like what is but when you say ewo lelei, you're intentionally trying to express that you're trying to decipher which is this out of all the things that I think it could possibly be. Which is this? Ewo lelei. Then if a noun is coming before, you can't say omo ewo. You could, in some dialects they would omo ewo lelei, but omo wo, because a noun is coming before. If you're, again, we're not always like grammar place people, because the language is so, it has a liquid form to it. You can shape it however you like many times, but if you're looking for standard grammar, you would say omo wo as opposed to omo ewo. Omo wo lele. Which child is this? For example, you see two children that are identical, a set of twins rather, and you're trying to determine which one is Taiwo and which one is Kendi among both. The one that came out first would be the Taiwo. Taiwo is actually the, To Ayewo is what we've combined to Taiwo. Just like my name is Ade Ri Onke. Ade Ri Onke, but it has now been shrunk to Ade Ronke because of how we write names. So, She Taiwo Lele Abi Kehinde or Kehin came after Taiwo. This one came to taste earth first This one came after. That's really what the names mean. Taiwo, Kehinde. So which child is this? Is this Taiwo? Is this Kehinde? Let's say this is Kehinde. Omo wo lele. Which child is this? This is Kehinde. Kehinde lele. Kehinde lele. Depending on the dialect, some will say Kehinde, some will say Kehinde. You know, Kehinde lele. Taiwo lele. You know, which child is this? So again, it still alludes to that something unclear, something unknown, something you cannot determine yet, but you want to or you're about to. That is what the word awu means in and of itself. Something that is weighty, that is not just what it is at face value, that is more, that carries more. Weighty. So if you have any questions regarding this word, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you for watching and for your time and for your support and for everything that you do to help me and to help me grow. And I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy the rest of your day and bye for now.
Show.